Eagle Warrior. VinWonders Phu Quoc in Vietnam looked for the perfect coaster that would combine family fun and thrills, and chose a suspended family coaster from Vekoma. This model does this combination very well, as the freeing lap restraint makes them very enjoyable to all levels of thrill seekers, while still not being too crazy as to scare away some more moderate thrill seekers. But VinWonders added an incredible amount of theming to make this not just a good, but pretty great coaster. Let me explain in this review of Eagle Warrior. As Vietnam's first story coaster, Eagle Warrior features 2 pre-shows, though due to the lack of attendance when I visited, these were both turned off. Although it would have been nice to see them, I greatly prefer just being able to walk on the coaster. The queue line is massive and still gives a great sense of the story and feel of walking through an Aztec temple, even without the pre-shows. This is a top-notch coaster queue by all means. The story itself is about recruiting people to become Eagle Warriors, elite fighters among the Aztec army. The queue line itself, you pass through the Battle Hall, Garden of Holy Water, Armor's Path, Hero's Hall, and the Chief's Room before finally entering the Temple of the Wind, where you're asked to face the treacherous eagle's flight. With a journey full of spells, monsters, and mysterious gods, you seem to have a tough journey ahead. Once on the coaster, however, the theming mainly is a series of darkness and bright flashing lights. On video, this looks a lot better since you can only see the lights in darkness, but in real life, there's enough extra light around the lights themselves and a few other areas that it doesn't give a perfect immersion feeling, unlike, say, the queue line. To be fair, the lighting is one of the better themings on a roller coaster, and combined with how solid of a coaster this is to begin with, really helps to elevate it even more. I just wish the on-ride theming was A+ work, instead of the B to B+ that it currently is. Suspended Family coasters from Vekoma got their debut in 2001 with Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island. These offered floorless trains with a relatively mild layout and coasters that were essentially inverted coasters as the trains didn't really rock back and forth. The 342-meter layout was popular as the initial installment before bigger versions came around. With Jimmy Neutron's Atomic Flyer at Movie Park Germany in 2007, these coasters got their new version of restraints with essentially just a lap bar. As inverted or suspended coasters have traditionally always had over-the-shoulder restraints, the freeing version of the ride offers a great plus to thrill seekers, as I noted in my review of Freedom Flyer at Fun Spot Orlando. In 2013, we saw the first installation of the 453-meter model as Orkanen at Farup Summerland. As with many Vekoma coasters, this one was marketed to be cloned, and has 13 clones around the world, including Dragon Flyer at Dollywood and Dragon Roller Coaster at Energylandia. With few people in the park, this coaster had fine operations as the attendants were mainly waiting around for guests to ride. They would hold a train if new guests arrived before they were ready to dispatch, so I did have to wait a few times for others to board after me. The problem with this is that they would start putting restraints down in the back first, so they could front load any late arriving guests, which just made it difficult for me to ride multiple times in the very back row, which does maximize the first drop. However, with the lighting, wind in your face, and overall feel of flight, the front row is by far the best on this coaster for the views. After leaving the station, you turn immediately and travel up the lift hill, which is relatively dark. You can see outside sunlight from a few cracks in the outside facade, so it isn't total darkness. It is also noticeably hot since there is no air conditioning inside the building for this ride. At the top, you turn sharply before going down a rather steep drop for a supposed family coaster. This drop delivers a nice sensation, especially in the back row. It's not one of the better drops in the world, but it packs a really nice punch for what it is. Then, you go through an overbank which seems strangely similar to an inversion, with how it will wildly throw you about. But the forces are different, and it offers a nice second punch after the initial kick of the first drop. This overbank is also taken in darkness, so you can't see anything as it gives you these great forces. Then you go over a little hill that doesn't do much before going up a little and turning to the right. This mixes in some nice lighting before throwing you into the first downward helix. Then you pop up into another small hill. As a coaster element, this does little, but the beautiful lighting in this tunnel here is an iconic part of the ride. Again, in person, you can see more beyond the lighting, so it is not nearly as immersive as the video. You then enter the second downwards helix that has nice flashing lights to help accent your descent, after which you turn into a 180-degree right turn. This is followed by a small dip, and then a final quick turn back into the station. With the final part unbanked, this can give a nice little whip, especially for those up front. Overall, how good is Eagle Warrior? The coaster itself is solid, and what I don't mind being cloned as it delivers its job. A solid thrill family coaster with a great restraint setup. With a queue line and overall theming, this coaster gets elevated even more as it is just a pure fun experience. I place it right above Scorpion at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, which is a very solid sports car that does everything you could want in a coaster, but just isn't one of the best out there. And right behind, the rough version of Mind Blower at Fight Spot Kissimmee, which I actually ranked it highly and enjoyed it despite how rough it was before the RMC retrack. When it comes to pure fun and enjoyability on a coaster, Eagle Warrior delivers. How do you like the theming for Eagle Warrior? What are some of the best theme coasters that you've been on? Let me know, and as always, Kapkun Krap.